afternoon in downtown St. Louis. The Reds and the Cardinals, Game 3 of the weekend series. Each club has taken a game. And hello again, everybody. Jay Randolph along with Rick Horton. Good to have you with us. Rick, in the lineup today, Colby Rasmus. He could be the key.
Well, the Cardinals need production in that spot behind Matt Holliday, and Rasmus is the most logical choice. The Cardinals are going to need him to get hot in September to make some noise for the wild card. He did have a pinch hit double yesterday, but the Cardinals need much more from him.
Wainwright, yesterday, wasn't able to get the job done as he still looks for number 18. Carpenter gets the call today.
You need your big horses to win games, especially in September. The Cardinals have not had much run support for either of these two guys. The good news, Chris Carpenter has won 9 straight against the Cincinnati Reds.
When we come back, Frank Cusimano visits with Tony La Russa.
Stretch, even with all your years in the business. Do you ever lean on someone else for a thought or an opinion on how to handle things?
Probably the guy that over the years spent more time talking we do with each other is Jim Leland. I mean, we're both facing the same things and have an understanding, when times are good, when they're not, when you have an issue here or there. So probably Leland is the guy that I talk to the most.
You don't seem to be much of a meetings guy for a manager. Have you had one of those during this stretch at all?
Well, I'm a great believer in you don't discuss the meetings for a couple of reasons. One, I think the players appreciate the privacy of it. Number two, it's been my opinion that when a manager makes a big fuss about he had a meeting, all he's doing is covering his butt. He wants the public to think, hey, I'm out there and I'm doing my job and I'm just making it all on the players. Well, that's not how we do it here. So, we have several ways that we talk a lot. We have a hitters meeting at the beginning of every series. We have a pitchers meeting. So there's ways to communicate with your club.
One thing you said in the past that you never want to hear. You never want to hear a coach or a manager say, well, there's nothing else we can do.
Absolutely. That's one of the cardinal rules of coaching or managing. What does that tell you? That means hey, we're doing our job and they're not. There's always something that you can do differently. You can find a way to improve the situation, whether it's a pitcher or a player, whether it's pitching or hitting, base running. So that's your challenge. In fact, I like it a lot. As most people know, General Moore has been a visitor, and one of his things, when you think there's everything you've done, there's always something else to do. I mean, that's one of his platitudes for leadership.
How would you characterize Kobe Rasmus at this stage of his career?
I think Kobe is an impactful player. I think he has done a good job for all the attention he gets and doesn't have very much experience. He came right up through our system. His first year, he had a good season for a first-year player. This year, he's having a good season for a second-year player. Is it a good season compared to what he's going to be in his career? He's going to be better and better. He's had a couple of tough stretches with injuries. He's had a couple of tough stretches where he's tried to make too much happen, which other guys in our club have done as well. And I'm really upset, irritated, and it's just not accurate that he and I have issues. I mean, I have great respect for him. I think he goes about it right. I think we have a good relationship. There are times where managers and coaches, we're supposed to tell players they're wrong when they're wrong. You don't just pat them on the back and say, hey, everything's okay. You never get better.
We appreciate the visit, sir. Thank you. Cardinal manager Tony La Russa. Cardinal baseball continues right after this on News Channel 5. Miller, Trevor, thanks for being with us. How are you today?
Outstanding. Ready to play some baseball in this beautiful weather.
How difficult has this stretch been for you?
Been tough. Been frustrating. I'm running a lot more. Just pounding the pavement, getting rid of my frustration, and keeping in shape. Trying to keep my teammates positive, and to keep the team upbeat. I wore some long hair in my hat for a couple of days, just kind of joking around to get a smile out of some guys.
The wife did not like the shave look, I imagine.
No, she's not a big fan of it. She likes my curls and likes to run her fingers through it. But she says I'm not ugly, but she does prefer me with longer hair, yeah.
During the middle of this rough stretch, is there a players-only meeting? Do you guys get together for a dinner? How did the players respond to all this?
Well, that's kind of internal, in-house stuff. that we take care of. Just know that we're on top of it, and we're doing all we can, both in the clubhouse and on the field to right the ship.
How do you look at things? Obviously, the odds are against you, but mathematically, you're still alive.
Yeah, definitely. Mathematically, we'll be in this thing all the way down to the final series, in my opinion. We're obviously got to climb Mount Everest here. Going to take a small miracle, not only catch these guys, but we're also pretty far behind in a wild card race. But the beauty of this game is those kind of things do happen every year to some team. There's one team that sneaks in there somehow, gets hot at the right time, while other guys are falling off and ends up right back in the race. I remember being in Houston about 2 or 3 years ago when we were chasing the Cardinals. We were 8 games out with 2 weeks to play, and it ended up coming down to the last game of the season. The Cardinals obviously snuck in there and I believe won the World Series that year.
Final thought, what did you think of Jeff Blum's comments about the Cardinals not looking like they wanted to win in Houston?
Didn't like him at all. I hate it when people question your resolve. When people do that to me personally, probably going to get popped in the mouth. But Jeff's been around. He was just giving his honest opinion. And any negative publicity we get, we kind of deserve. We definitely haven't played the caliber of baseball that we're able to play, and hopefully we can turn that around and get back into good grace with everybody, including our fans here in St. Louis.
We appreciate the visit, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Trevor Miller. We'll take a break. Cardinal Baseball continues on News Channel 5.
By Commerce Bank, member FDIC. And by Sunset Ford. Click and pick today, drive it home tomorrow. Visit sunsetford-.com. Well, an absolutely beautiful day for a win.
Cardinals could use one desperately, couldn't they, Jay? They're running out of opportunities here. They've got a lot of mountain to climb.
29 games remaining for the Cardinals, 27 remaining for the Reds. Cardinals 70-63, the Reds 79-56. And here is the Reds starting lineup.
And a pretty good lineup it is. These players have developed very well, especially Drew Subs, the center fielder. Chris Heisey has been effective. And the Cardinal fans, I guess, haven't forgotten Brandon Phillips.
Brandon Phillips will lead off. Reds batters lead the National League in hitting and runs and hits and total bases. They lead the majors in overall hitting with runners in scoring position. There's Chris Carpenter making his 30th start, looking for victory number 15 this afternoon. Here's the defense.
Cardinals defense has been much better since Pedro Feliz took over at third.
The Toyota first pitch of the game. A strike on the corner. Jeff Nelson is the home plate umpire. Mike Carlson at first. The crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, at second. Larry Vanover at third. Phillips batting .287. 1 ball and 1 strike. .77 degrees as we start the game. And Feliz can't handle the hot shot at third. And that is an error on the third baseman.
And that's his first as a Cardinal. Not an easy chance, but he should have made this play. Certainly went down to get it. Just hit off the heel of his glove, it looked like. And Feliz makes his 12th error of the season, just his first as a Cardinal.
Here's Orlando Cabrera. He's batting .260. Toss over. Cabrera had been out of the lineup since the second. He's had some oblique muscle problems.
Paul Janisch did a nice job replacing him, and we talked about the Cardinals' injuries throughout the course of the year, but really the Reds have had just as many. They've lost Cabrera. They do not have Jay Bruce right now, and of course their pitchers. Volquez was out for a long time. Bailey was out.
Off-speed pitch. Cabrera is 35 years old now. He's from Colombia. Originally signed by the Expos back in '93. Over the last 9 seasons, he has hit more doubles than any shortstop in Major League Baseball. I was thinking about bunting. Strike 2. The Reds are 40-23 against the Central Division this season. 38-29 on the road. 28-19 playing day baseball. Foul outside of third.
What we'll be looking for out of Chris Carpenter here this afternoon is what kind of command does he have? That was a bit of a rolling curveball there that could have been a bad result. If Cabrera would have waited back just a little bit more, he could have pulled that into the corner for a double. The sharpness of his curveball has been an issue for Carpenter over the last 10 starts, but he still managed to be effective in those starts.
That's a little low.
Much sharper there, though. In Carp's last 10 outings, Jay, 3 runs or less in every one of those outings. So he could be, conceivably, 10-0. But he's just 5-2 during that stretch. The Cardinals really not scoring a lot of runs for him.
He has won his last 9 starts against the Reds. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Another one low.
As silly as it is, and as obvious as it is, the Cardinals have to develop the mentality that the only game they can win is the one today. You start thinking about how big that hill is to climb, the wild card, what the Phillies are doing, all that stuff. It just wears on you. You've got to find a way to focus on just saying, hey, all we can do is win today.
You use the word focus, and that's so important. Focus on the job at hand. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Of course, as fans, Jay, we can scoreboard watch and we can think, and I would say the Cardinals need to win 20 more games to have a shot. They've got to get to that 90 plateau. Now, I can say that. We can think that way. Fans can think that way. But the players internally have to kind of shut that noise out and just go about their business.
Payoff pitch coming from Carpenter. Runner goes. Popped up. Albert in foul territory. Makes the play. Joey Votto, named to his first All-Star team this year, leads the National League in RBIs, on-base percentage, batting .324. This fella's considered the top candidate for the league MVP.
And if you remember back to the All-Star game, he had to get voted in at the last minute.
Right.
He was not selected. And one thing that you'd say about this Reds club is it is a developing club. You can't really say that about the Cardinals this year. They haven't gotten better at many of the positions or even some of the individual players. But the Reds collectively just seem to be developing and getting better.
Inside, Votto, who's 26 years old, from Toronto, Canada. Second in the Rookie of the Year voting last year. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's right down central.
You go back to spring training, you might look at matchup team versus team. You'd say the Cardinals probably better than the Reds 6 or 7 out of 9 positions. But I'm not sure you'd say that now.
Don't see how you can. That's a little low. Let's go to Frank Cusimano with some thoughts about Votto.
Jay, I spent some time with the Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brennaman of the Reds, and he said the one player that Votto reminds him of in his career is Pete Rose, in that he will never give up an at-bat. It could be 8-0 in the 9th inning of a game, and he looks at it like it's the 7th game of a World Series. Never gives up an at-bat.
And the 2-2 pitch struck him out. Good pitch on the inside corner.
Not sure Votto thought that one was a strike, but good location for Carpenter. He throws that little sinker that comes back over the inside, and I'm not sure that's a strike or not. Too close to take, though.
There is Marty Brennaman.
And I like that comparison to Pete Rose. Pete Rose used to say, if you give up 1 at-bat a week because you're not maybe into it or it's a 10-0 game, that's the difference between hitting 300 and 250. And that was what he said constantly in his career, and Pete Rose got a lot of hits, that's for sure.
Mr. Brennaman broadcast all of them. Scott Rowland batting .297. Scott's now 35 years old and from Jasper, Indiana. Deep to short. Ryan falls down, can't make a play. Slipped right on the edge of the grass there. It's a base hit. 2 on and 2 out for Gomes.
It's going to be a tough play for Ryan. Got no chance to get the lead runner at second, and he really just slips. If he makes a normal play and is able to plant, he'll throw out Scott Rowland. He'd like another shot at that one.
Can't keep giving those extra outs up, can you? Come back to haunt you, but see if Carp can get Gomes here. This is where .263.
This is where Adam Wainwright was not able to overcome his defense yesterday.
Out it goes. The shortstop makes the play. They did not hit a ball out of the infield here in the opening inning. No score at Busch Stadium. For the Redbirds.
And you'd like to see this lineup for as long as the Cardinals have a chance. This is the A lineup with Schumacher leading off. John Jay getting the start in right field in front of Albert and Holliday, and Colby Rasmus in that very important fifth spot.
Homer Bailey, 24 years old, from Texas, was the National High School Player of the Year in 2004 out of Orange, Texas High School. 3-2 his record. It's his fifth start since coming back off the DL. He had an inflamed right shoulder.
Cincinnati Reds defense #1 in the National League. They lead the league in batting average and also in fielding percentage.
Schumacher batting .272. He has increased that batting average over the last month. Strike on the corner.
Scott Rowland taking the bunt away from Schumacher. You just wonder how much Scott Rowland has affected the entire team expectation defensively. He's so good.
Well, I heard Marty Brennaman talking about that over the last couple of days, and there's no doubt that Rowland has been a stabilizing factor in the clubhouse.
And he sets the bar defensively. Brandon Phillips already a Gold Glover at second base. Phillips has only made 2 errors this season.
A little low. Bailey was a first-round pick of the Reds back in '04, the 7th player picked overall in the draft. On the ground. Phillips throws on, 1 away. The next Family Sunday, September 19th, when the Cards host the Padres. All fans purchasing a regular price terrace or pavilion reserved seat receive a free Hunter hot dog and a Coca-Cola. Get your Sunday tickets today at Cardinals.com. Here's John Jay. He's batting .329. Leads the National League rookies with that average. He has hit safely now in 38 of his last 50 games. Hot shot to the shortstop. Cabrera makes the play. Ball was hard hit. 2 ground balls, 2 outs.
Jay has hit a few balls hard in the last week without much to show for it. But you look at his .329 batting average, Jay, coming into this game and say, boy, Cardinals would be lost without John Jay and his contribution.
Albert Pujols Broke an 0 for 18 skid with a single in the game yesterday. National League Player of the Month for August. And he batted .379.
If the Cardinals are going to win the wild card, he may have to be Player of the Month in September, too.
Into center field. Drew Stubbs is there. The Cardinals get down 1-2-3 after an inning. No score. Sunset Ford Cardinal Nation Show, 30 minutes of in-depth stories, interviews, and features. The Sunset Ford Cardinal Nation Show, right here on your home for Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. Ryan Hannigan leads off the second inning for the Reds. He's batting .285. Hannigan, who played at Rollins College down in Orlando, Florida. Takes inside. Led all the National League catchers in fielding percentage last year. Was a real find for the Reds because he was signed as a non-drafted free agent back in '02. Up the middle, a leadoff single for Hannigan. Here's Drew Stubbs. Stubbs batting .239. He does have 59 RBIs and 15 home runs. Stubbs is from Texas. He's 25 years old. Was a three-time All-American at the University of Texas. In for a strike. And this fella can run.
He can flat out fly. 24 out of 28 in stolen bases. And he really patrols center field pretty well. Got off to a bad start at the big league level, and they thought, well, maybe he can't hit here.
Foul back.
But he's one of those developing players we talked about. And I give the Reds some credit. They did not bring up Aroldis Chapman, who we may see here this afternoon. Pitched an inning yesterday. But they could have brought him up quickly, but they let him develop at the AAA level until he was ready. And they've got an extra weapon now going into September.
He can really bring it, can he? Chapman. He's a flamethrower. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just getting underway in a scoreless game here on a magnificent afternoon. Not a cloud in the sky. Another sellout crowd on hand. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Talking about Chapman, I saw in the St. Louis Post an article that said it takes 0.39 seconds for a Chapman fastball to get to home, and it takes 0.41 seconds to blink. So don't blink.
That misses. Full count. That was an 88-mile-an-hour slider from Carpenter. And Chapman throws that kind of pitch as well.
His is nasty.
Yeah.
Tony La Russa said he was a lot like Randy Johnson with that slider.
Center field. Rasmus is there at the track. The right fielder is Chris Heisey, batting .262. Born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 25 years old. He was their minor league player of the year last year for the Reds. Popped up into short center. Rasmus coming, and he makes the play. Obi got a good jump on that ball. He had a long run.
Rasmus did get a good jump, but he kept going and he took charge. And what does a runner do? Hannigan, he has to go halfway, and he has to determine, is he going to catch this ball or not? And when Rasmus closed on the ball, he retreats back to first base. If he gets too late of a jump and the ball does drop, then Rasmus may be able to throw him out at second. So that's kind of a tweener play for the runner at first. And Hannigan did it perfectly.
Homer Bailey, pretty good hitting pitcher. He's got an average of .273. Takes a strike. Ball and 1 strike. These Reds have the only winning road record in the National League Central. 38 road wins. One ball and 1 strike. Fouled away.
And how they've played within the division is really what set them apart. 17 games over 500 within the division, even though they have not played the Cardinals very well. Redbirds just 2 games over 500, and that means they're losing to teams like Milwaukee and Pittsburgh and the Chicago Cubs, and you got to be able to take care of business in your division.
The strikeout is the second for Carpenter after an inning and a half. No score.
Cusimano with the Cardinal general manager, John Mozeliak. John, this late in the season, can anything be done to improve the ball club at this stage?
Well, it's really hard to acquire anything from outside the organization, but Memphis is in a playoff hunt right now, and depending on how they play the next couple days, we should add some fresh faces here in a couple days. But when you look at the club we have right now, really we have to start just winning baseball games, and if we can do that, maybe we can get on a little run and play up to the capabilities we thought this team was capable of doing.
Every team but the world champion from 2010 will look back, I could have done something differently. Do you have those thoughts in your head now, or do you wait until after the season to evaluate what you should or shouldn't have done?
Well, I always think you're looking back and evaluating yourself and evaluating the organization all the time. And this was a team that from day one we always believed in. And unfortunately we had some tough breaks like other teams do. And we just didn't have the answers to withstand them. But hopefully people realize we still have a very good core of players here, and we really believe we still have a very good future.
Final thought, how will you handle third base? Will you bring in a veteran? I know it's early to say, or do you believe that David Freese is going to make a complete recovery and you can rely on that?
Well, I certainly think it's a great question, and one that what we have to do is just see how David recovers, and depending on his rehab from maybe 4 to 8 weeks from now, if things look positive, then I think we can rest assured that he might be able to do the job. But if things don't go well, then certainly we need a backup plan.
We appreciate the visit, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay and Rick, back to you.
3 balls and no strikes. Holiday leading off, takes a cut. 3-1.
And I appreciate John Mozeliak and his willingness to be so open and glib with Frank in that visit as you think about the psyche of Cardinal fans. And, of course, we're all disappointed at this time and still with a little bit of hope. But you can imagine the way the players are feeling, the way Tony La Russa is feeling, the way the general manager is feeling right now. And for him to address those questions in such an open way, I really appreciate that, because I know it's just eating at these guys. I mean, if it's eating at us as fans to try to get some answers, you know they have that same feeling.
A full count to Holiday. He has tied his mark of last year with 24 home runs again this year. Into center field. Stubbs can't get to it. It's at the face of the wall. And a leadoff double for Matt Holliday.
I'm not sure even Albert Pujols hits the ball as hard as Matt Holliday does from time to time, and this ball was out to center field in a hurry. Packed so much power in that swing, and he drives this over the head of a pretty speedy center fielder in Drew Stubbs. Turns the wrong way at first, but even if he turned the right way, he's got no chance of catching that ball.
Colby Rasmus stands in, batting .264. Had a pinch hit double in yesterday's game. Fouled away. If you were with us for the pregame show, you heard manager Tony La Russa talk with Frank Cusimano about the fact that there is no problem between player and manager. It's been a story that has apparently gotten a little out of hand as far as Tony's concerned.
Well, it depends on how you define the word problem.
Yeah.
And what he said to Frank is, yeah, there are times where we correct our players, tell them they're not right, tell them they need to change something, and that's not a problem. That's what coaches do. Now, that's his version of it, and, you know, Colby, as a young player, is just trying to get better, trying to find out how he can succeed at this level, and I'm not sure he's sure of that answer yet, even personally.
He's still maturing in that area,
exactly.
No question about it. The 0-2 pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You got to find your zone. You know, Colby's looking for that. I think he likes to play relaxed, but Tony likes pressure. So you take the coaching and the tips and you try to get better, but you don't kind of get overwhelmed by that, and that's tough for a young kid to do.
Foul back. That Birds will fly to Milwaukee this evening, play the Brewers tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday and Wednesday night, then go to Atlanta for 4. And the Reds will be flying out to Denver for 4 against Colorado in the Mile High City. Two balls and 2 strikes.
One thing that you would hope for out of Colby Rasmus as he does mature as a player is that he finds a way to shorten his stroke just a bit, cut down on the strikeouts.
Want to get Holiday over there to third in this situation at best. Strikeout. The first for Homer Bailey.
Cabrera, the shortstop, doing everything he can to keep Holiday from getting a big lead. And he is multiple times just moving in, trying to bother Holiday to make sure that that lead is short. He's looking over his shoulder. And Rasmus not able to do his job, which was to advance Holiday to third base.
Yadier Molina batting .255, threw out a couple of runners in yesterday's game. On the ground, and the first baseman, Votto, tosses over to Homer Bailey. You know, Cardinal fans, the final of 5 Ice Mountain autograph nights comes up Wednesday, September 15th. Cardinals meet the Cubs. Join us to meet your favorite Cardinal players and alumni. For more details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
You want to know why the Cardinals aren't scoring a lot of runs this year? You get a leadoff double. Rasmus does not move him to third. That ground ball would be 1-0 Cardinals that Yadier Molina just hit. But without moving Holiday to third, that's a little thing. Might not show up in a box score anywhere, but that's how you win games, is advancing runners and driving them in.
Pedro Feliz currently in an 0 for 17 slump. Now would be a nice time to get out of that jam. Fly ball into short left. Gomes makes the play. After 2, no score. See who's enjoying the game. Another sellout crowd on hand.
Well, this weather's been something, hasn't it, James?
Fabulous, really fabulous.
Oh, must be the second baseman at bat by the sound of the boos, huh?
That's right. Well, we hope you enjoyed looking around this thirst inning. Remember, Budweiser, it's what we do. The voice of the Cardinals, Mike Shannon, joining us, and he has a thirst for a victory this afternoon.
Well, I want to see some offense, man.
That's right.
The last inning is a good example of the Cardinals not playing good, sound, fundamental ball. They get a guy at second base, nobody out. They leave him there. They never move him over until there's one out. One out there. Rasmus couldn't move him over, and so it just changes the whole complexion of the inning and of the game. You got a guy like Carpenter. They're probably going to pull the infield in because Carpenter's on the mound. He's capable of shutting out, but they didn't do it. And those are the kind of runs that are easy to pick up.
0-2 on Phillips, who reached on an error in the first.
If you'll execute the fundamentals.
Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Carpenter pitched around the air like we couldn't pitch around in the first inning yesterday, so that's a plus. And then he gave a single to Roland, and he pitched around that. Stranded 2 in the first inning. And they had a leadoff single by Hannigan, and they couldn't do anything about it either, moving him up. He died over there.
2-2. To the shortstop. Ryan throws on in time. He knew he had to get rid of this ball in a hurry.
And I'll tell you why. Because watch him. He's almost running when he hits it. You see that? Because he was leaning out in front, so his momentum was going right with him. And that's when you really get out of the box. Where if you're coming and falling back, that takes you another split second before you can move. But when you're reaching out for the ball, and your momentum is taking you that way already, and you can fly down there. And of course, he runs well anyway.
Cabrera fouled out to Pujols.
But you could really see him leaning when he was out after that off-speed pitch.
Deep in the hole. Ryan throws. Got him!
So that kid has unbelievable range. The ball just went by the third baseman, and he still got over there. He's having a little trouble with standing up over there. He fell down on the first one, and he darn near fell down on this one. Watch him after he goes. Look where this ball is, just past the third baseman, and he's all the way in the hole. Almost slipped again, but he regained his balance, and he still got him at first base.
That's a grade A play there.
Oh, big time. I mean, he is just so good. He has so much range. He has more range than any shortstop in the league.
Votto struck out in the first. Fouled away.
Tell you what, they just kept jamming him in that first inning with fastballs, and he was called out. He didn't like the call from the home plate umpire, but it was very, very close, and it was close enough that you needed to swing. They're going back in there, but he made a mistake, got that one a little too far out in front.
Humbling toss is on.
He's got a ball in it.
1, 2, 3, they go. No score here at Busch Stadium. Regular season kicks off. Brett Favre and the Vikings taking on the Super Bowl champ, the New Orleans Saints. The NFL on NBC. Coverage begins at 6:30 this Thursday night on News Channel 5. Oh, a nice round of applause for Ryan, who will lead it off. Some play made there a few moments ago. Brendan's average at 218.
Well, that's been the toughest part because he hit very well last season when he got the job on an everyday basis, but he has struggled from the get-go this year.
Two. Homer Bailey on the hill for the Reds this afternoon. Coming back off the DL, the record of 3-2.
Yeah, they missed him, but they had some guys that really filled in. This guy won 8 games for him last year. He'll be strong going down the stretch, though, missing all that time.
And the strikeout. That's the second for Bailey. Enjoy the Cardinal baseball experience at Busch Stadium when you stay at the Hyatt Regency St. Louis at the Arch. The package includes overnight accommodations, $10 food and beverage credit per day at the brew house, tickets to a Cardinal game, plus a personalized Rawlings baseball bat. Visit HyattRegencySt.Louis.com for more information. Carpenter takes low for ball 1. Ground deep to shortstop. Cabrera. 2 away.
I tell you, this offense of ours is flat as a surface out here. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, they just can't get anything going. I don't think I've ever seen them go through a stretch like this. They've been as flat as they've been.
It's been really a kind of a mind-boggling experience, I would say, for the fans and for the players, and it just is hard to figure, Mike. It really is.
Yeah, that's once again paper. And it's what it looked like on paper, but they're still playing this game on dirt and grass, aren't they?
Schumacher grounded out back in the first. Here's one for the first baseman. Otto gets it over to Bailey. And the Birds go down quickly and quietly after 3. There's no score. Channel 5 is brought to you by Bank of America. Get Cardinals banking only from Bank of America. Get started at a banking center or go to bankofamerica.com/Cardinals. By the Dave Sinclair Automotive Group, a proud sponsor of Cardinal baseball, and by McDonald's. Try the new ice-blended caramel or mocha frappe now at McDonald's. Mike, Forest Park, one of the great assets of our community.
There's so many things to do here in the St. Louis area. We have so much to offer with the museums, the Muni, the Fox, and the list goes on and on. The riverfront, our downtown area, the Arch, the zoo, still a free zoo here in St. Louis. As Roland fouls one off, and he's in the hole 1 and 2. But I mean, look at the scene we have right here.
Oh, it's magnificent.
No court building there, and the Arch and the downtown skyline. It's just beautiful. And new ballpark here.
Roland singled back in the first. Oh, it hit him.
You can hit Roland anytime you want. He just never moves hardly. He hardly moves an inch. Even when the ball just goes skidding by him, he doesn't move. Let's see if he moves on this one. No. Right into it. He never moves away from the ball. Never. See? There's no action to get out of the way at all. If you throw it in there, you're going to hit it. Period. He just will not move. Even you throw the ball an inch from him, he doesn't move. He just lets it go by. If it hits him just like that.
The leadoff man is on for the 3rd time in 4 innings. Johnny Gomes, who grounded out in the first.
You watch Roland next time he comes up. They throw one inside. He never moved. This guy's a very aggressive hitter. You know, their lineup, especially in their ballpark, Jay, they can, almost anyone can take you deep.
Born in California, lives now in Arizona. This fella got a scare very young in his life. 2002, suffering a heart attack on Christmas Eve. He was hospitalized for nearly a week after that. He ended up finishing 3rd in the voting for the Rookie of the Year in 2005. And he's going to stand there just for a moment, and then he will step away. 3rd strikeout for Carpenter. Sunday's game day on News Channel 5. Our next broadcast comes up 2 weeks from today, September 19th. The Cardinals take on San Diego. And the Window World Cardinals game day preview comes your way at 12:30. Cards and the Padres, Sunday, September 19th, on your home for Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. Hannigan singled in the second.
Well, here's a guy, if you can get him to hit it on the ground, you should turn the double play.
This team has some speed with Phillips. Cabrera, even at age 35, still runs pretty good. Votto has got good speed, and of course Stubbs is a real burner.
Yeah, he's as fast as anyone in the league. On the right side, and he's covers a lot of ground in center field too with that speed.
Just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His defense alignment.
Dead straight away. Infielders shorten up for the double play ball.
Foul outside of 3rd.
Combs is a guy that really just digs in and stays in there. They have a lot of guys like that on this team. They kind of gut it out. Really paid off for him. Who's going to break through first today? Carpenter's had been on base in every inning except the 3rd when he set them down in order, the top 3. Double play.
And there is 1, and there is 2. 5-4-3 on the double play. No score. Tom Mee. It's at major bookstores throughout the area. Look behind the scenes, the Cardinal telecasts, and a book that gives you a great deal of insight from one of the very talented directors behind the scenes in the trucks, showing you how to cut the game and understand it more.
Talk about organized unorganization. You got to see that truck down there.
Organized chaos.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. People come in there and they just can't understand. I mean, there's so much action in that truck. I mean, you got people everywhere, and he'll yell out something, and one guy knows it. It's his name. You know, it's not a name. It's like 4. Take 4. Take 7. They all know
pressure is
their
always on, I'll tell you. John Jay leading it off as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning in a scoreless game.
And I'll ask him, you got a replay on that? Put up 4 replays. That's great. They should have made a video. You should have put a video with that book.
Here's a shot to Phillips.
There is a video on the website.
Oh, good.
Wow.
And he does that blog all the time, and it's a lot of people have found it very, very worthwhile and very interesting. Albert Pujols fly to center field in the first. Mike, the Cardinals in the stretch now, playing 31 games in 31 days because of that makeup that they have been the 20th of September down in Florida.
That's good, Jay. I can remember, 1967, we won by like 10 games, okay? So the schedule came out in 68. We had like 60 games or 61 games in 59 days. Well, they said, well, we'll slow that club down a little bit, try to bring it back. Well, we got hot. 59 days, won something like 40 games. And so there are, and anytime you have a plus, you have a minus. But, hey, get hot, get on a roll, and it never stops. You don't have that day off to cool you down.
Hopefully this club can find some momentum.
Well, they're going to have to
happen.
Well, they're going to have to start hitting the ball, Jay. And they're going to have to start getting the key hits. The last month, I bet you we've had the winning or tying run in scoring position a dozen or 15 times, and they have never gotten the key hit. So I don't know exactly if they're putting pressure on themselves or what the heck it is, but and the pitchers that are shutting them down, I don't see any Carl Hubble or anything like that of late. So they're just in a funk right now.
That wasn't Sandy Koufax yesterday, huh?
No, I mean, I'm not trying to say that kid didn't pitch a ball game, but how am I to know after 2 weeks?
Here's a shot into left. He got under it, and it is caught at the track. Just got under it. Boy, he hit that ball. That was a ball that he really got a hold of, but it was just high.
Well, Albert knows what he's doing. He's dropping that back shoulder. And, see how good those commercial sunglasses are? They're not worth a darn. You had to use the glove to keep the sun away from it.
Well, you and I have talked about
they
that.
Don't know how to use. They don't start training the kids in the minor leagues with with those flip down sunglasses. And they're the only ones that work when the ball's up in the sun.
Here's Holliday, really hit the ball hard to lead off the second inning with a double to center field. Fouls it back.
Well, and that's another small example. He gets on and they just don't move him over. I mean, if you're looking for, there are just so many things you can point to that why this team is flat and why they've had such a poor record the last 3 weeks. But you can blame it on them, the hitting mostly.
Popped up. Votto, the first baseman, makes the play.
Easy, they go easy.
We're through 4 innings. There is no score.
Drinks for only $0.25 the next day and on the run.
6 is a serious number.
Carpenter on the hill. Drew Stubbs at the dish. And a little flare out into right. And another leadoff man is on for Cincinnati. What's on tap? Presented by Budweiser tomorrow, 12:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. The first of those games against the Brewers. A day game tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday evening. And then it's on to Atlanta for 4.
Will not be an easy road trip. Brewers play the Cardinals very tough, and the Braves have something to play for as well.
And one point of improvement certainly for Milwaukee has been their bullpen in the last month.
Axford's done a nice job. Probably the main contender for the best rookie pitcher in the National League with Jaime Garcia, though Garcia has been good right out of the gate.
Heisey flied to center field in the second. We're in the 5th. No score. Cincinnati with 3 hits. The Cardinals with 1. And along birthday greetings to Brentley Green, who joined us here in the booth this afternoon. It's birthday for him, hopefully. And very special wishes to Gary and Anita Letourneau. Their 60th wedding anniversary, celebrating it. Great Cardinal fans.
Warren Mueller, 89 years old today, watching the Cardinal telecast every Sunday. And a big happy birthday to Warren.
And a nice note from some of our friends down in Chester, Illinois.
I love this one. I love this one.
Sends us a big can of Popeye chopped spinach.
Let me see that, Jay.
Yep. And longtime Cardinal fans, Bob, EJ, Nez, and Groundhog here for the game today. And they brought us the Popeye spinach. Maybe help the Redbirds get their swing back. It worked for Popeye. It might work for the Cardinals. They have their big Popeye clinic down in Chester, Illinois, September 10th through the 12th. If you want more information about that, www.popeyepicnic.com.
Never had spinach brought up to the booth for us. I can't recall that.
It's a first.
Hey, couldn't hurt.
2 balls and a strike to Heisey. The runner goes, fouled away. Stubbs, as I mentioned, has 24 stolen bases in 28 attempts. Chester, Illinois, our great friend Bill Kahneman down there. I listen to the broadcasts on a regular basis. Two and two the count to Heisey.
Cardinal fans have been very supportive of this club after that tough road trip. A lot of the players talking about that, how much they appreciate the fans not quitting on them. Of course, you would expect that. You're in the Midwest and you're in St. Louis. Wonderful fans. They showed up here this afternoon.
No fan base in America as loyal as Cardinal Nation. I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't think there's a fan base that feels a loss as much as Cardinal fans do.
It's true. Strikeout, number 4. This date in history, September the 5th, Mark McGwire becomes the 3rd player in Major League Baseball history to hit 60 home runs in a season. This day in history presented by our good friends at Commerce Bank. Here's Bailey, who struck out trying to bunt, fouls it. friend of mine tell me the other day, you're always talking about the lost art of bunting. Well, it is a lost art, but I guess I talk about it too much.
If they start bunting better, you wouldn't talk about it so much, Jay. Hey, I'm with you.
A lot of speed there at first base with Stubbs. And another foul. Yep.
Bailey handles the bat pretty well. He swings the bat well. Of course, bunting is a different art than swinging the bat is. And the key for bunting really is to just have balance at the plate, set the bat angle correctly towards where you want to bunt the ball, and then just put the bat in the right spot of the ball, and it's going to do the rest on its own. You deaden it a bit. You just got to make sure you direct it. Bend with your knees. Don't move the bat a whole lot. Just let the ball hit the bat. Some would say it's like catching the ball with your bat. You're just going to give just a little bit.
One ball and 2 strikes. Stubbs down there at first. Feliz pulled up on the grass at third. Struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Carpenter. Well, of course, a great tradition tonight, following News Channel 5 at 10, the 45th annual Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon, live from Grants Farm. Join hosts Mike Bush and Heidi Gloss as they and all the volunteers will help to continue the fight against muscular dystrophy. The telethon. It all begins tonight at 10:30. A wonderful cause right here on News Channel 5. Phillips has reached on an error and grounded out. And he's showered by the boos on every appearance to the plate. Into right field, and this is going to drop in front of Jay. And on to third, Stubbs. It's a double.
Well, with that flare going the other way, I had concerns about Stubbs being able to score. He runs so well. This ball hit off the end of the bat. Stubbs can absolutely fly. He's thinking scoring right now. And he is just flying around the base paths. And John Jay does a nice job of coming in and barehanding the ball and getting it into the infield as quickly as possible.
That ball really died out there, didn't it?
It sure did. Jay has been very sound fundamentally on the defensive side. Really, all aspects of the game.
Cabrera has fouled out and grounded out. 2 on and 2 out. Stubbs at third, Phillips at second. Down to third, fair ball. 2 runs will score. And into second with a double. Cabrera. RBIs number 38 and 39. 2-0 Cincinnati.
This is the story of the Reds season, picking up a hit when you need it. This ball, a broken bat, double right past a diving Pedro Feliz and into the corner. And this is the kind of hit that the Cardinals have had way too few of over the past couple of months. 2 out hits with runners in scoring position.
Votto stands in. He almost got hit with that one, had to jump out of the way. Votto is struck out and grounded out. Low, ball 2. Milwaukee's playing in Philadelphia. They're leading 5-2. Phillies batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mets leading at Chicago in the 3rd inning, 2-1. That's foul. Washington leads Pittsburgh 6-1 in Pittsburgh. They're in the 5th inning. Steven Strasburg having the Tommy John surgery over the past few days. Foul ball.
Well, it's fun to see talent like Strasburg and Aroldis Chapman for Cincinnati Reds come into the league. Names that you don't know maybe at the beginning of the season, and as the season rolls on, you can't wait to see them play. I think that's the great nature of the game of baseball, is great talent gets developed and you get a chance to watch them play in their career, and you watch their career unfold. And Strasburg, unfortunately, having to have surgery, but he will be back, and I suspect he'll still be one of the top pitchers in the game when he does come back.
Here's the 2-2. Another foul. But quite often, Rick, in recent years, they've gotten so proficient with that Tommy John surgery. Many pitchers will tell you they feel stronger than before once they get through their rehab.
I think it takes care of some weaknesses that you might potentially have in your elbow, and sometimes they do feel that way. And I'd still prefer not to have it, frankly, after taking 1.5 to 2 years off of your career.
Another foul.
But you can point to Chris Carpenter coming back strong. You can point to many other pitchers that have been dominant after having that surgery. So they've certainly perfected it from back when Tommy John had it, when it didn't have a name.
And our friend Mr. Daly, he came back fast. He has the world record for coming back off that surgery faster than anybody.
He came back, I believe it was 9 or 10 months.
Again, Daly. One of the many Cardinal alumni that still are in this area and does such wonderful work for the community.
50 ex-Cardinals. 50 or 51 ex-Cardinals live in St. Louis.
Payoff pitch coming from Carpenter. Strikeout number 6. But the damage is done. The Reds come up with 2. They lead after 4.5. Cindy Pressler, Scott Connell, Mike Roberts, and Anthony Slaughter. In fact, they have won the Weather Rate seal of approval 7 straight years as St. Louis's most accurate weather team. The Weather Plus weather team only on News Channel 5.
And the weather team would be able to tell you those are cirrus clouds. That's the kind of thing they know, our weather people. They're not stratocumulus or nebulous or whatever the other ones are called. Cumulonimbus.
Where did that shot come from? There aren't any clouds.
right behind us.
Must be behind us because there's not a cloud in the sky in front of us. Here's Rasmus. Kobe hits it down the line and right. It's a fair ball. Stand up double to lead it off.
Exactly what the Cardinals need out of Colby Rasmus, the ability to get extra base hits. And this is the second time in the game the Cardinals have a leadoff double. Pitch middle in and he jumps on it. I like the aggressiveness of Rasmus. Matt Holliday's double in the second inning amounted for nothing. He just stayed there. Actually went to third on the ground ball by Molina. Cardinals were not able to pick up that run. We'll see what they can do here. Again, Molina will try to do what Rasmus could not do in the second inning, and that's move the runner to third base. That's his job right here.
Fouled off into the seats and right.
And before that pitch, I was going to say, it's amazing how much a line Joey Votto was giving Yadier Molina. He was trying to hit that ball right over the bag. Votto has just moved 3 steps closer to the bag. He was actually 3 steps to his right from where he is now on that first pitch. And
Still a lot of room down there.
There's still a lot of room, you bet. But he was much closer to Brandon Phillips on that first pitch, and Molina tried to shoot one past him.
1 ball and 1 strike. White Sox are losing 2-1 in Boston. 6th inning. Into right field. Back at the track. Votto makes the catch. Rasmus tags and goes on to third. Excuse me, that's Heisey, not Votto. Excuse me. Heisey is the right fielder.
Very productive out for Yadier Molina.
Now get Cardinals banking only from Bank of America. You'll get the Cardinal logo on your debit card, credit card, and checks. Plus, you get extra base rewards with every credit card purchase. Learn more at a banking center or bankofamerica.com/Cardinals. Pedro Feliz flied to left field in the second inning.
All right, the first job was done. You move Rasmus over to third base with 1 out. Now the second part of that job that's just as important is Feliz getting him in. A ground ball to short, ground ball to second, scores a run. Or a fly ball in the outfield. Rasmus runs well.
And now Jose Oquendo comes down to say something to Feliz.
Probably telling him to make sure he hits down on the ball. All we need is a ground ball right here. That pitch, almost a pop-up, the first pitch to Feliz.
And there it goes to third, and the run is going to score. Nice play by Rowland. Got to that ball and spun around and made the play, but Feliz picks up the RBI.
Well, that's the way you play baseball right there. Feliz does exactly what Oquendo told him to do. Hit the ball on the ground somewhere, and another nice play by Scott Rowland. I'd like to have $1 for every time we said that over the years. Nice play by Scott Rowland.
Here is Ryan, who struck out in the third. Redbirds on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-1 game. Curveball is low.
Even if the Cardinals only score 1 run in this inning, Jay, I think that was a very good answer to the top of this inning when the Reds picked up a couple against Chris Carpenter. Make sure you get something in the bottom half. Carpenter gave up 2 runs, but a couple of the hits in that inning, the bloop by Brandon Phillips and then the ground ball single by Cabrera, were not hit that hard. And he's had a pretty nice afternoon, has Carpenter.
2 balls and no strikes. Foul back. Toronto leading the Yankees 7-3 in New York. 7th inning. Two and two. You know, when you get a lead, you always hope that your pitcher's going to be able to put up a 0 in the next inning, and Bailey hasn't been able to do that, but he does strike out Ryan, and that is his 3rd strikeout of the game. 2 strikeouts for Brendan. 2-1 Cincinnati. Brought to you by Hardee's. Try Hardee's new hand-breaded chicken tenders, freshly prepared on the premises. And by Dave Munganaz, Lexus of St. Louis, and Plaza Lexus, who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. It'll be Roland, Gomes, and Hannigan here in the 6th.
And you mentioned Chris Carpenter has only been able to retire the leadoff batter 1 time, Jay. It'd be nice for him to have a nice 1-2-3 inning.
Foul back and out of play. Roland singled in the 1st, was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Good pitch on the outside corner, 1-2.
Carpenter's command has been very good today. He hasn't walked anybody. He did hit Scott Rowland in the 4th, as you mentioned, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts.
Tampa Bay leading Baltimore in Baltimore 5-4. They're in the 6th inning. A 2-2 offering coming from Carpenter. Full count. Minnesota leading Texas. They're playing in Minnesota. 2nd inning. 2-0 Minnesota. Center field. Rasmus. 1 away. Johnny Gomes is grounded out and he is struck out.
Kind of a nervous hitter. He does a lot of stuff with his helmet and with his gloves. Right before the pitch comes in, he pulls his hat down about 3 times. Got this little nervous habit that he does, and maybe that helps him with his vision. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. A little antsy. Usually those guys do not hit off-speed pitches very well.
Well, Ryan makes some moves like that in the box.
Well, he does. There's the hat.
Oh, 0-2.
Did he look nervous? Fidgety? Got to find your style.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Keith Hernandez was pretty fidgety as a batter.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose was. Nomar Garciaparra in his heyday.
Oh, boy.
Maybe more fidgety than most.
Drive you nuts with that stuff with the gloves. The 2-2. Another strikeout. That's 7.
And another strikeout on a breaking ball for Chris Carpenter. Very sharp this afternoon.
The catcher Hannigan has singled in the second and hit into a double play in the fourth, as that 7th strikeout is our Hardy's hot pitch of the afternoon.
And here is the breaking ball. Gomes not very good at hitting curveballs, and I don't think anybody's very good at hitting that one. It's so good, it's a Hardy's hot pitch, for goodness sakes.
It is indeed. One ball and 1 strike.
He is sharp this afternoon. Another fastball right on that outside corner, just how he started out Scott Rowland. Very good command. Definitely hitting his spots.
Hot shot into the seats. Detroit at Kansas City. They're 1-1 in the 5th inning.
You're going to have to hit a really good curveball right now, Mr. Hannigan.
He couldn't do it. 8 strikeouts for Carpenter. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 2-1 Cincinnati. News starts first on News Channel 5. Art Holliday and Jennifer Blome. St. Louis's favorite weekday morning show today in St. Louis. getting you what's new, what's now, and what's next. Today in St. Louis, weekdays beginning at 4:30 a.m. on News Channel 5, where the news comes first. Carpenter to lead it off. He grounded out back in the third. Strike at the letters.
Talked about the command of Chris Carpenter. How about the command of Homer Bailey? Nothing but strikes from him. That's just the 15th pitch out of the strike zone all afternoon for him. No walks, 3 strikeouts for Bailey. Throws mid-90s. Not a lot of movement on his fastball. He really relies on good location.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Other interesting things about Bailey is last year he made a big point out of wanting to learn how to throw a split finger. He learned it from a teammate in the minor leagues and wanted to throw a split finger. The Reds didn't want him to because they thought that he would hurt his arm. So he didn't, and then just decided, I'm going to throw it because I think I can get away with it. And that might have been the split right there.
And that's the 4th strikeout for Bailey. Of course, his first name is really David, but he's called Homer after his grandfather. And you're talking about him not wanting to throw that pitch. He did have that inflamed right shoulder.
That's right.
Schumacher. Low for a ball. He's grounded out twice.
Also changed his breaking ball. He was throwing a big curve ball and then kind of a shorter slider, and he's just kind of gone to throwing a breaking ball that's in between, kind of a slurve. And again, he's a promising young pitcher, and the Reds have a lot of them.
He is just 24 years old. That's inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You could project their starter yesterday, Wood, the left-hander, and then Chapman, and then Bailey 3 or 4 years down the road and say, boy, this staff could be unbelievable. And Volquez and Cueto both have very good arms. Both young guys. They're set up very well, the Reds are, to be a tough opponent in the Central Division for the next 5 years. And you got to give Walt Jocketty some credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow it'll be Westbrook going against Giovanni Gallardo in Milwaukee. Then Kyle Loesch gets the call on Tuesday against Chris Narveson. Garcia against Capuano on Wednesday. 3 balls and a strike. Full count.
Skip is making him work this inning. Taking a couple pitches right down the middle, wanting to get to this payoff pitch situation. Make him work a little bit.
Leader on the ground. And just in time. Phillips just getting that ball over to Votto in time.
I thought he was out to the naked eye, but Skip, Schumacher, Tony, and Dave McKay didn't think so. And it's a very close play, kind of a double clutch for Phillips, and he is safe.
Mark Carlson, the first base umpire. Tony La Russa has his say and walks away.
Boy, very close play there, wasn't it? Think about how difficult a job it is to be a major league umpire and make that call real speed, real time. Second baseman double clutches, so you've got to hold on to your call. Just very difficult to see that properly in real speed.
John Jay is grounded out and lined to second.
You think if he called him safe, Dusty Baker would have come out of the Reds dugout?
Probably.
And you think about it, that's one of the interesting things about baseball is the manager is allowed to go onto the field and argue a call. Can you picture a NBA coach doing that or a NFL coach doing that?
This gets through. Jay going for 2, and he's there. A double for John Jay. Tying run at second for Albert.
John Jay's been hitting in bad luck of late. Little inside-out swing past Scott Rowland. Not that easy to do. He does get a glove on it. I tell you what, if he got robbed of that hit, then I'd have really felt bad for John Jay. You had to start thinking about what he's done wrong of late. But Cardinals now with another runner at scoring position. They're still looking for their first single of the afternoon. 3 doubles. All 3 hits have been doubles.
Albert fly to center in the first. Fly deep to left in the fourth, and will be intentionally passed here.
That is a lot of respect that Dusty Baker is showing Albert, who has not swung the bat well the last 3 or 4 days, but Dusty Baker does not want Albert to beat him. Matt Holliday has swung the bat better this afternoon against Bailey than Albert has.
For all your local high school sports action, you want to visit highschoolsports.net. Highschoolsports.net features highlights, schedules, photos, stats, and even the power rankings of the St. Louis area schools. Check out where you went to high school at highschoolsports.net. Well, here is the opportunity for Holliday, who has doubled and popped out. Two on and 2 out. 2-1 lead for Cincinnati. Bottom of the 6th inning. Strike at the knees.
Brandon Phillips now taking his turn to play games with the runner at second base, trying to keep John Jay close. He's doing everything he can to worry him a bit. Important that Jay gets a good lead and a good jump if Holliday's able to get a base hit. The outfielders are deep.
One ball and 1 strike. The defensive alignment.
Jay should be able to score on a base hit anywhere into the Reds outfield. Unless it's a one-hop bullet, that might make it close.
Holliday was going for the downs on that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He was going for him. He was just a little tardy.
Plate.
Very late swing for Matt Holliday. Fooled by the curveball, wasn't going to swing at it at all. Then, that might be a strike. So he just fouls it, beats it into the ground. Very defensive swing, but he's got a new life.
Giving the catcher a little time there to kind of nicked him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tying run at second. And now Hannigan going out to talk with Homer Bailey.
Bailey got set, then stepped off, shook his head. No, I don't want to throw that pitch. I just don't want to. And looks as if Hannigan was saying, no, that's the pitch to throw. And Bailey not sure about it. And this is the right thing. Have a conversation. Make sure you're on the same page. And be confident with whatever pitch you decide to throw next.
In Florida, Atlanta and the Marlins are tied up 6-6. They're going to the 10th inning. Did it hit him? Ball came out of there. No, did not hit him. Stick the bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Holiday's had an awful lot of pitches up and in the last couple of weeks. Been hit twice. Had a ball thrown behind him.
There's a shot deep to left center. Way back. It's gone. Home run number 25. RBIs number 85, 86, and 87. Cardinals take the lead 4-2. They're on their feet here.
And Matt Holliday struggled to keep that at bat alive, Jay, and finally got a fastball that he could handle.
Here's Rasmus. Fouls it away.
Here's the pitch location. He's trying to get that fastball away, and it comes back over the middle of the plate, and Holliday smacks it straight away center field. The reaction of the catcher and the pitcher after the conversation on the mound told the whole story. Both of them very dejected that he wasn't able to get through that inning.
There's a play at first, safe. Phillips did a good job getting to that ball, but Kobe, running full bore all the way, beats it out.
The catcher may have wanted him to throw a breaking ball, and he throws one more fastball. There's the reaction of Homer Bailey. The catcher not happy either. And he'd been pitching so well up to that point, Matt Holliday, with tremendous power. And that's exactly the kind of hit that the Cardinals have needed the past 3 weeks. Maybe it's a good sign they're getting that big hit when they need it.
Brian Price, the pitching coach for the Reds, out to talk to Homer Bailey. That shot by Holliday to left center, 418 feet.
And, of course, that's ruled an infield hit for Colby Rasmus. That's his second hit of the afternoon.
And here's Molina. He's grounded out and flied to right. Well, these fans come alive. This crowd really humming now. What a shot by Holliday. fans cheering Yadi, Yadi. Hits are even now at 5 apiece.
Cardinals have not been much of a comeback team this year. The Reds have. The Cardinals haven't.
Runner goes. The throw. He's out. The throw from Hannigan cuts down Rasmus. But the Birds come up with 3 to take a 4-2 lead. Miss a look ahead to the St. Louis Rams NFL season. Join the News Channel 5 sports team, Rennie Knott, Frank Cusimano, and Katie Feltz. Rams 2010, building from the ground up. That's Wednesday at 7, right here on News Channel 5. Stubbs to lead it off. He is flied to center, singled and scored. One ball and one strike.
That'll be a great show to watch. The Rams have had a great preseason. Steve Spagnuolo and his group doing a great job with this team, and a lot of changes, and look forward to watching them play once the season starts.
At Holiday.
There's a guy that Spagnuolo would probably want. Probably make him a middle linebacker.
He was a terrific football player in his high school days in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Strikeout. That's number 9.
Carpenter is getting stronger.
The Marlins beat Atlanta 7-6 in extra innings down in Florida.
And for Cardinal fans that may be confused about the wild card as it relates to division leaders, I think at this point you want everybody to lose. You want the Braves to lose.
You got that right.
You want, I mean,
want the Phillies to lose.
I understand everybody can't lose. Somebody has to win every game. I get that. But you certainly want the Braves to lose. You want the Phillies to lose.
And the Phillies are losing 5-2 in the 8th inning.
And you want the Giants and the Padres to lose. Because the Giants are making a run at the San Diego Padres. Padres are in a very rough stretch.
San Francisco at Los Angeles later today. Colorado at San Diego later. The 1-1 pitch.
San Diego has lost 9 straight games. The Giants only 2 games back. And you know what? You also want Colorado to lose while you're at it. Now that's not going to happen in the Colorado-San Diego game. Somebody's going to have to win.
Let's go down to Frank Cusimano.
Well, Jay, earlier in the broadcast, Rick was talking about the young pitching staff of the Cincinnati Reds. And it really is amazing with Homer Bailey, today's starter, at 24, and Cueto at 24, and Wood at 23, Volquez at 27, Malik at 22. Then the nucleus of their lineup, you have Joey Votto, 26, Jay Bruce, 23, Drew Stubbs, 25, Chris Heisley, 25. I talked with Walt Jocketty earlier in the season, and he said he's never been around an organization with so much good young talent. So they're good now. They have the best record in the National League, and they may be good for a while. Back to you.
All right.
And that's a great summary. Leak isn't even a guy we haven't even talked about. We talked about all the good arms. Didn't even talk about Leak. And another name we should mention is Bob Forsch, who is coaching in the minor leagues with Cincinnati and doing a great job. Talked to some of the Reds people that they really like the work he's doing with the young pitchers, helping to develop them.
This is Yonder Alonso pinch hitting. Just recalled from Louisville on Wednesday. Carpenter with the 10 strikeouts. It's the third time this season that he has garnered 10 strikeouts in a game. And make it 11. That's the most strikeouts in a game for Carp this year. The Redbirds lead 4-2.
Played in Canada most of his career.
Bryn Smith. And our Verizon call to the bullpen brings Logan Andrusek on. This guy is a big fella. 6'8", 235, 25 years old.
Done a nice job out of the bullpen for Dusty Baker. The bullpen was really a question mark, but they've had some pitchers come on of late. Andrusek is one of them. Nick Massett's had a good year out of the bullpen, 70 appearances for him. Arthur Rhodes has had a career year, made the All-Star team this year.
Up the middle. And the throw in time. Good job by Cabrera to get to that ball. Feliz will stand in. He has flied to left.
Yadier Molina has been dealing with some knee issues of late, and you just wonder whether that is the difference between being safe and out there. Of course, he doesn't run well, but the knee issue certainly doesn't make it any better. Some play, though, by Carrera.
Yeah. Feliz, as I mentioned, flied to left in the second. Then he picked up an RBI on a ground ball. Thrown out 5-3. Molina is going to have a day or two of rest in this stretch of 31 games that the Cardinals are playing. Of course, interesting to see how Tony wants to handle that.
Well, it's not a simple.
Pagnozzi's now up with the club.
And he's a guy that has a little more experience than Brian Anderson behind the plate, and I think he's been in the organization longer and really was an organizational player. And with the name Pagnozzi, you know he knows how to catch.
And this one does get up the middle. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated or disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, here's Ryan. He's struck out twice. Gets through. Feliz holds on at second. Well, back-to-back singles after Molina almost beat out the infield single.
Yeah, this would be good if the Cardinals could add on to their lead here in the bottom of the seventh inning. A run in the fifth, 3 in the sixth. Now Chris Carpenter with a chance to move the runners to second and third for Skip Schumacher. And he will try to bunt the ball to the third baseman, Scott Rowland.
Homer Bailey tried on one occasion to move runners along. Let's see how Chris does here. He takes a strike at the knees.
Votto charging hard at first base. With runners at first and second, the first baseman doesn't have to worry about holding the runner on first. So he starts in at the cut of the grass and starts to move and creep towards home as the pitcher delivers it. And so that's why you need to bunt the ball to third if you can. Votto ends up about 15 feet away. He's right next to the pitcher. Entering into your screen, Scott Rowland has to stay back to make sure the runner Feliz doesn't steal third. So he's got to hang back a bit, and the play may be at third. So he's got the tough decision as to whether or not to charge or stay back. But Votto will be coming hard.
And the sacrifice is good. Traveling this season? Take the Cardinals with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cards game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Cardinals.com for details. Local in-market blackouts will apply. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Well, that's going to be it for Andrusic, and Bill Bray, the left-hander, was warming up. We'll expect to see him come in, and we'll be back with more right after this.
For you of the Brandon Phillips fan club came out here for action this afternoon. They couldn't wait to come out and express just what they thought about the Cincinnati Reds second baseman, but they're here to root on their Cardinals as well, and they've done a great job here this afternoon. Matt Holliday gave them a lot to cheer about.
And let's remind you to try the new ice blended caramel or mocha frappes now at McDonald's. Miles will be the pinch hitter here for Schumacher. And the call to the bullpen presented by Verizon. And this is the left-hander Bill Bray. Bray is from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Lives now in Grapevine, Texas. Originally selected by the Expos back in '04.
And Tony La Russa deciding to pinch hit Aaron Miles for Skip Schumacher. And at least opens the question about whether or not you're making yourself a little more vulnerable defensively.
Miles on that recent road trip was 6 for 14. This was his costly error that put the Cardinals in a hole here yesterday early, as he got the start at second base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Miles batting .313. Foul back. Bray went to the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Must be pretty smart then. It's a great
school.
Great school, you bet it is. Not noted for their baseball talent.
No. One ball and 2 strikes. Foul back. Feliz and Ryan in scoring position with 2 out. Miles battling here,
He's fouling off some tough pitches, spoiling them. Behind in the count, he's got to keep his hands back as late as he can. When he's doing that, it just reminds me of him hitting that foul ball that hit Juan Encarnacion, trying to protect a similar situation. Boy, that was awful.
High and tight, 2-2.
And Miles, again, that's kind of his style. I would say if you're on the first base side, you ought to be alert with 2 strikes on Aaron Miles.
Full count.
Tony La Russa with an option to pinch hit either Stavinoa or Randy Wynn for John Jay. If Bray loses Aaron Miles here.
Bray is not allowed a run in any of his first 5 appearances. This is out into center field, and it is going to be the center fielder who makes the play, Stubbs, and the Cardinals strand 2. Birds lead 4-2. Baseball on News Channel 5, brought to you by Window World, proud sponsor of Cardinals baseball, and by Toyota. The Hot Choice sales event only happens once a year, so hurry. The event ends September the 7th. Brandon Phillips will lead it off. Reached on an error in the first, grounded out in the third, doubled and scored in the 5th. Carpenter back to work. It's fouled off. Trevor Miller, the left-hander, loosening in the pen for the Cardinals.
And Carpenter has struck out 6 of the last 7 batters, and he is getting stronger as he goes along. 13 is his career high, and he is already at 11. I say already. It is the 8th.
0-2. Key time in the game for Carpenter and the Cardinals. Redbirds leading 4-2. Phillips, Cabrera, and Votto here in the 8th inning. On the ground, Ryan throws on. 1 away. The big at bat in this game, Matt Holliday.
Well, he's able to foul off that late breaking ball. He thought that might be a called strike, so then he's able to hang in there and be alive for this pitch. A fastball that gets too much of the plate. Homer Bailey with the reaction, and Matt Holliday with the big hit in this game. In the 6th inning, a 3-run home run.
Cabrera has fouled out, grounded out, doubled, and picked up 2 RBIs in the 5th. One ball and 1 strike. Up the middle. 1 out single for Cabrera. His 2nd hit in a row. He's 2 for 4 on the afternoon. Immediately following today's telecast, stay tuned for the Dave Sinclair Automotive Group Cardinals Game Day Wrap. Enjoy the Cardinal highlights from today's action, insights into the game. News Channel 5, your home for St. Louis Cardinal baseball. And here comes Tony, and that's going to be it for Carp. A terrific performance by Carpenter.
Fantastic.
They come to their feet. And well, they should. What a game he pitched. A pitching change. We'll be back with more in a moment. Well, let's revisit Rick's keys to the game.
Well, the 3 keys were for them to hit, and they have hit with some extra base power here this afternoon. 3 doubles and a home run. Holiday, the big hit, catch the ball. Other than the first error on the first batter of the game by Feliz, the Cardinals have played well defensively. And you've got to believe that the Cardinals have believed that they could win this game, and it doesn't hurt to have a guy like Chris Carpenter on the mound striking out people left and right.
37-year-old left-hander Trevor Miller out there now. Votto is struck out, grounded out, and struck out again in the 5th.
All about matchups here. Miller and Votto. And the matchup that will follow this will be Rolen and McClellan.
Miller has retired all 9 batters that he's faced in his last 3 relief appearances. 1 ball and 1 strike.
2 key matchups in this game in the 8th inning. If you're Scott Rolen, you're thinking, what will McClellan start me out with? He's sitting on deck thinking about the last 5 times he's faced McClellan. McClellan's warming up knowing he's pitching to Scott Rolen. Miller was warming up knowing that his job would be Joey Votto at the plate, knows how good a hitter he is. Preparation and opportunity. Some people call it luck.
Way wide, 2-2.
Just 1 for 7 in his career against the left-hander Miller. We told Frank Cusimano in the pregame show that he would have to pop somebody like Jeff Blum if he said that to his face. How about that?
Again.
The mild-mannered Trevor Miller said he would pop Jeff Blum, his former teammate. I wonder if he would go do a haymaker and come down from underneath or punch him over the top, Jay. I don't know.
He is the elder statesman, of course, of the
kind of mild-mannered guy, though.
Yeah, he is. He and Franklin, both 37 years old.
Big pitch right here.
Lined to Felice. Safe at first.
Tough out to get. Votto can hit. Line drive right at Felice. Bang, bang at first. Cabrera just gets back in time.
Pretty good job by Cabrera getting back there. Miller comes out.
First battle won.
McClellan coming on. As we come back, we will replay for you as Roland is at the plate. And here is the last out of the inning.
Both relievers get their men.
Redbirds leading 4-2. Contact Ad Creations for all your promotional product and apparel needs. If you want people to remember your name, remember ours. www.adcreations.com. Jay leading it off. Bottom of the 8th inning. Redbirds up 4-2.
Cardinals trying to go 12-6 against the Cincinnati Reds this year.
Jay has grounded out, lined out to second, doubled and scored in the 6th.
Cardinals will play the Brewers, the Braves, Cubs, Padres, the Marlins in a makeup game, Pirates, Cubs again, Pirates again, and then Colorado to end the season. And they're going to have to win about 21 or 22 of those games.
2 balls and a strike.
It could happen.
Right back to Bray.
And we should throw out some congratulations to the Johnson City Cardinals, the low A Cardinal team that won the championship in their league. And congratulations to those young Cardinal players. And in fact, 5 of the 6 Cardinal minor league teams have playoff possibilities going on right now.
That's going to be it for Bray. The right-hander Smith coming in. We'll be back with more in a moment. In Utah, Smith Friday was recalled from Louisville, his second stint with the Reds this season. He'll face Albert Pujols. Albert this afternoon flied to center, flied deep to left, was hit by a pitch and scored in the 6th inning. Intentional pass in the 6th. 0-2.
Pretty tough assignment for him, isn't it? Come in out of the bullpen, you've got to face Pujols and Holiday back to back.
He was a midseason Southern League All-Star last year. In the minor leagues, an ERA of under 4. It's his first year up with a big club. And he strikes out Albert. Reminder again about tonight. And a tradition that continues on News Channel 5 and around America, the 45th annual Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon, live from Grant's Farm. Join Mike Bush and Heidi Gloss. Help them fight muscular dystrophy. All begins tonight at 10:30 right here on News Channel 5. Here's Holiday. Double in the second, popped out in the fourth, 3-run home run in the sixth.
And that at-bat, the key moment in this game. Homer Bailey was one pitch away from having an outstanding outing. Holiday one pitch away from being struck out with a couple runners aboard in that sixth inning. You look at Bailey's numbers today, Jay, only 5 hits in 6 innings, 1 walk. He would have had an outstanding game had he been able to retire Matt Holliday.
Looking ahead to the top of the ninth, Gomes, Hannigan, and Stubbs due for the Reds. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-2.
I mentioned that Johnson City team that won the championship. Should also say that there is a young pitcher on that team, a guy named Drew Bennis, son of Andy Bennis, who was out of the bullpen there, had a 1.8 earned run average for that club.
Pop back, out of play. Cabrera throws out Holiday. Now we'll go to the top of the ninth inning, and that man will hold him, hopefully. Ryan Franklin. Live is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center, a proud sponsor of Cardinals baseball. Some of the sculpture in the area. And the man on the hill right now, Ryan Franklin.
And he'll get a chance to do what he hasn't had enough chances to do in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that's save a Cardinal victory. 23 saves on the season for Frankie, and he has been good much more often than he has been poor, and you have to really credit him for staying sharp without a lot of work.
23 saves. Johnny Gomes has grounded out and struck out twice. Foul into the seats, deep to right. Franklin, born in Fort Smith, Arkansas. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Johnny Gomes.
This Reds team, Jay, we mentioned it earlier, has been very good at coming from behind, so you can't really view this game as in the bag in any way, shape, or form. There is work to do.
On the ground, deep in the hole. Ryan throws. Woo! He is out. Well, I'm telling you, guy is playing some shortstop, and you got to give Albert credit too.
Absolutely, defense matters. This ball in the hole, very tough play, very athletic play by Brendan Ryan, and a tough hop to handle for Albert at first base. Actually caught that ball before it hopped. Brendan Ryan trying to will the ball to get all the way there, and pretty excited about his play, and he should be.
Hannigan standing in. He singled, grounded into a double play, and struck out. Felice throws on. Time to anoint our Budweiser player of the game.
And wow, was this a tough choice. We could have gone with Chris Carpenter. How could you not? But Matt Holliday is our Budweiser player of the game. 2 big hits, a double and a home run, including a 3-run shot in that 6th inning. That's the big swing of the bat in this game today, and the Cardinal fans have loved being at the ballpark here this afternoon.
They're on their feet as Franklin faces Drew Stubbs. Stubbs flied to center in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 5th, struck out in the 7th. Ryan Franklin, who took over the closer's role in April of 2009. One strike.
Cardinal fans are standing and telling the Cardinal players that we're still with you.
Fly ball into right. John Jay or Rasmus. It's Rasmus that makes the play, and the Cardinals have a come from behind victory here, and they have won this series over the Cincinnati Reds.